Hey guys, how's it going? Can you hear me? That's me. Okay, you should be able to hear me. Let me also open the live stream myself.
Your brain lights up like a TV.
How was today contest, guys? I'm sorry the picture is a bit blurry. It's not my fault. It seems like there's some internal damage with my webcam. Sorry for that. So how did you like the contest? We're gonna start the stream in around 2 minutes. For the rest to join as well, I think we have to start in around 2 minutes. So till then, you can talk about how was the contest for you, how many problems you guys have solved. Great, all problems were great. Nice. I could only solve ABC. 1, 0. It's good, but problem D was first unavailable English. At the beginning it was only available in Russian. Right now I see that it is available in English, but maybe in the beginning of the contest that was only available in Russian. And I see that tourists has participated. Fun. Mustafa 6, Blitz 2, 4, 2. Thank you very much. God, if I'm right. I am 13 years old, 1 correct, bad or good. No, you have started. I mean, when I was 13 years old myself, I wasn't familiar with Codeforces. I couldn't accept even one. So, you're ahead of me regarding it. Guys, you can also choose the color of my background as well. Which color do you want to use today? Which of these colors? Which color should you use today? Yes, at 13 years old it's good to solve. 3. Red, white, mist, red, blue, black. We don't have black. I think black is turning it off. Maybe I can test turning it off. This is what happens if I turn it off. If I'm right, we have recently used red. And we most of times use blue. So maybe we can use green or... How many people are agree with green? I see a wood that is green. Orange? I don't think there's an orange choice. There are just these 6 options. Okay, I think we should now start talking about so between green and purple, choose one. These are the colors that we haven't used. I cannot speak Arabic. No, I don't know that. Yesterday I had a solution discussion of this lead code contest. And it was nice. I talked about this, that I wanted to learn some languages, but I didn't find time. Okay, I see that most people are purple fans, so maybe I should make it purple. It's more pink, but anyway. Okay, so are you guys ready to start talking about the problems? Let's fix this a little bit. Oh no, I wasn't asking people CF color. But it can be interpreted as CF color as well. Today is for candidate masters. Today's contest stream is dedicated to candidate masters. Okay, So if you're ready, we can start talking about the problems. Let's start talking about problem A. I personally started from reading from the last problem, and I have solution for the last problem. But I think the rest of it must be easy as well. So let's talk about the first problem twice. It says that Kinish wakes up to the start of a new day. He turns on his phone, checks his mailbox, and finds a mysterious present. He decides to unbox the present. Kinish unboxes an array A with n integers. Initially, Kinish's score is 0. He will perform the following operation any number of times. Select two indices I and j such that neither I nor j has been chosen in any previous operation and ai is equal to aj. Then add 1 to his score. Output the maximum score Kinish can achieve after performing the aforementioned operation any number of times. So it's saying that each time we can choose two indices I and j, and if they are equal, increase our score by 1. Come on. It seems like tablet's not working again. So I'll fix that. But for now, let's start here. We have two indices I and j, and we can choose them and increase our score by 1 by choosing them, and they cannot be selected anymore in the next operations. The point is that for any number like x, you can see that how many x's you have. Assume that you have k x's. Assume that you have k x's. Then at most k half times you can choose 2 x's and use them to increase your score by 1. At most k half times. And the score that you can get from the x's is going to be at most k half. So for each x, for each number, and your numbers, you know that your numbers are up to 20. For each number, you can see that how many of that you have, and for each one of them, just add just all of them divided by 2. The floor of division of each one of them by 2. And this way, you're going to have all the answers. For example, in here, you have 2 2's. In here, you have only 1 1. 1 divided by 2 is going to be 0, because we take the floor of division. So the answer is 0. In here, you have 2 2's. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So it will be given 1. So you have the counter. You keep that. How many numbers do you have? How many occurrences of each number do you have? And then at the end, you add all of them divided by 2. Is it clear? If it is clear, please put a plus or use this emoji. Use this 100 emoji. You have a problem in sound? The sound is not clear. Let me in the meantime try to also see that what is the issue with tablets and see if we can fix it for the next problems, or we have to stick with laptop's whiteboard for now. Okay, for a second it was available. Okay, it's fixed. Great. Okay, so are you guys okay with that? Shall we move on to the next problem? And if you want to show the code as well, I can quickly show you the code too. It's very simple. You can just, as you see in here, let me know if you cannot see the code completely. In here, you can see that you have all these test cases. For each test case, you see an n, and you see in all the x's, and the way he has done it, he has a set, and if in that set x was there, he will increase ans and erase x from the set. Otherwise, he will in place the x into the set or insert x into the set. So you could also do this, have this greedy approach, go forward for each number x. If you already have another x, pair these two and remove that x because that cannot be used anymore. Remove both of them. Both of them are not going to be used anymore. So you will not add this one and you will remove the previous one as well. But if x is not in set already, you will insert x in set so that if you saw another x in future, you can match this two. So this was also another way that you could implement it. Okay, so let's now move on to problem B then. Problem B, intercepted inputs. It says that, problem B says that to help you prepare for your upcoming Codeforces contest, Sitlali, if I'm reading it correctly, set a grid problem and is trying to give you an n by m grid through your input stream. Specifically, your input stream should contain the following. The first line contains two integers n and m, the dimensions of the grid. The following n lines contain m integers, each the values of the grid. So you are given a grid, but it says that someone has intercepted your input stream, shuffled all given integers and puts them on one line. Now there are k integers all on one line and you don't know where each integer originally belongs. Instead of asking Sitlali to respond the input, you decided to determine the values of n and m yourself. Output any possible value of n and m that Sitlali should have provided. So basically you have an n by m grid and each cell has some number. Each cell of this grid, let's make this bigger. What's wrong with it? Someone called me, sorry. So we have n and m, and n and m are up to n and m can be definitely at most the k that you have. They cannot be greater than k. And you have this grid of size n by m, which gives you n by n times m numbers. In total, you're going to have nm plus 2 numbers in total. All of them shuffled in a line. So you have to find out that what is the dimensions of your grid, what are the values of n and m themselves. So in order to find that out, what you can do is to find out 2 integers among these integers such that their product is equal to nm. Basically, whatever your k is, you know that nm plus 2 is equal to k. So you need to find out 2 values like n and m in their input such that n times m is equal to k minus 2. For instance, if you take a look at, for example, this case, you have 11 numbers. So basically, 12 of them are n and m. The other are going to be the values in your grid. So these 2 values, their product must be 9, must be 11 minus 2. So we subtract 2 because one of them is n, one of them is m. The rest of them are cells in the grid. So you should have 2 values, n and m, such that their product is equal to k minus 2. And if you find any 2 such values, you can output that. And in order to do that, you can just have a 4 on all the elements and keep all the elements that you have seen. For example, again, you can keep them in a set. Very similar to the previous solution that we saw the code, what we saw in the code of the problem A. You can keep a set and keep all the numbers that you have seen already. And now whenever you see some x, check if k minus 2 over x is in sets. Check if this number is in your sets. If that was in your sets, you can just output these 2 numbers, x and k minus 2 over x. Because that's completely a valid option. This can be the dimensions of your grid, and the rest of the numbers could be the elements inside your grid. Okay. So basically, you can just have a set and find out for each x if k minus 2 was also in your set, you can just output these 2. Otherwise, you will continue and check out the rest of the numbers. You will just insert this number into your set and check the next numbers. Does this make sense? Is it clear? I'm also finding a code to show you as well. But if it is clear so far, please again put a plus or use the 100 emoji. I will show you a code now as well. Yes, k minus 2 modulo x should definitely be equal to 0 as well, yeah. Yes. You should definitely check that k minus 2 modulo x is 0. Then there are... Okay, that sounds with me. It's kind of easy when it's explained. No, that's okay. I mean, guys, these problems only get easy for you after you do a lot of training. So do not worry if, do not feel bad about yourself if it's not easy for you. That's completely okay. If you take a look at my own plot, let me show it to you. If you take a look at my plot here, I started from here. So basically you guys, at the beginning you see that you go down. That's completely okay. Don't feel bad if you couldn't solve that. If you see that, for example, I solved these problems now, I've registered 10 years ago. So basically you have to have some years of experience. You see that year by year I became better. So don't feel bad if you can't solve them right now. Any of these problems. At the beginning, it's not very easy for anyone. Okay. Yes, my formula is 300 AC or even more. If, as I said in my previous streams, the thing that I did, I always tell all my students and everyone else as well in the streams. In here I was a newbie. It was 3 or 4 months afterward that I got rank 4. And if you ask me that what did I do in this period that I had a great growth, I always tell everyone that I sorted problems in Codeforces and I started solving them. And if I was thinking on a problem and I couldn't solve them, I was reading the people's code, and I learned a lot from people's code. So that's helped me a lot, and I believe that it would help everyone else as well. So let me also talk about a code. I'll show you this code as well. If you take a look at it, you have some n, and he has this val. This n was the value k that was given in input. He names it n. And val is n minus 2. Now we have to find two numbers such that their product is val. We have to find two numbers such that their product is val. He gets all the values, and then what he does is this. He just have a for on all the numbers. He says that if val modulo ai was 0 and c of val over ai, it means that c of val over ai was not 0. If this was not 0, C is a map. It could also be a set. Map also works. Map of int and int, it will map every integer to another integer. So C keeps that harmony of that integer you have seen so far. If val modulo ai was 0 and you have seen val over ai previously, you can just see out ai and val over ai and return from this function. The problem is solved. And then after that, if you haven't found it, just add 1 to C of ai. And increase it by 1. So this way you can just find out how many of each number you have, and at the end, if you saw some ai and val modulo ai was 0 and val over ai was in the set before, you can output this. Is it clear? How long it takes you to become pupil in Codeforces for first time? I think I was in newbie for 3 contests, and I was a bit unlucky in them as well. But in this contest I was a bit unlucky, and in this contest I was very lucky. This was one of the best contests for me. I had plus 254. So from here to here, and I started C++ and a little bit of coding before participating in my first contest. So I don't know for sure how long it took me. But regarding this thing, this topic, I should send you this video again. really recommend to you to watch this video. I have told you everything that is necessary for you to get out of newbie in these 2 videos. What things you should never do if you are a newbie right now, and what things you should do. This is what I saw myself when I was practicing and I was dealing with this, and I had a lot of students afterwards. I had, I think, more than 300 students in my life, 300 CP students, and I saw in every one of them as well. I've told you everything that you should not do and things that you should do. For instance, I sometimes see people who are newbie, but they're trying to learn segment tree. That is wrong thing to do. You should never do that. So I've talked about it in more detail in these 2 videos. If you're in a newbie, watch that. I won't say that again in here and won't waste your time, because I know that a lot of you are here for problems. But if someone wants to watch that, you can watch it in these 2 videos. Okay. So yes, they do apply to OS. How to be your students. If you want to be my student, you have my email in here, I think. If you want to be my students, I have some students right now as well. I wrote a blog previously as well. I tried to also be a student of some students. When I had time, I tried to also have some students. I have one class that is free for many people. I had one class that they were only IOI level people. So if you are preparing for IOI, you can apply for that free class if you are at the level of IOI, because that's very advanced and for IOI people. But I also have personal tutorings as well for people. You can see my email and email me if you want to have that class. This is my email. sign@gmail.com. Anyway, let's not waste your time more than this and talk about the next problem. Problem C. Superultra's favorite permutation. So this problem, it says that Superultra, a little red panda, desperately wants primogems in his dreams. A voice tells him that he must solve the following task to obtain a lifetime supply of primogems. Help Superultra. Construct a permutation P of length n such that pi plus 1 is composite over all I from 1 to n minus 1. If it's not possible, output -1. Okay. Well, we want to construct a permutation P1, P2 to Pn such that each two consecutive numbers, their sum is composite. Okay, we want the sum of each two consecutive numbers to be composite. Well, first of all, what is the first idea that comes to mind when we face with this problem? We know that even numbers are always composites if they are greater than 2. Even numbers greater than 2. So if we can make the sum of two numbers, two consecutive numbers, even, we are sure that they are going to be composite, because definitely that sum would be greater than 2 as well. You cannot have, I mean, if sum of two positive numbers is 2, it's the only case is that you have 1 and 1, but the numbers are different. So you can never make 2 as sum of two numbers. So you can be sure that if you put numbers with the same parity next to each other, for example, you put two even numbers next to each other, or you put two odd numbers next to each other. If you put them next to each other, their sum is gonna be even. So what you can do is to just do a partition, put even numbers on one side and odd numbers on the other side. You just need to make one pair next to each other, such that the sum, I mean, one odd number must be next to one even number, and their sum must be a composite number. Their sum is definitely odd because one of them is odd, one of them is even. The sum is going to be odd. But I want to make sure that that's composites. And I want to use the smallest possible numbers because I want to make sure that even for a small n's it works. So what is your suggestion? What two numbers I can put there? 9 plus 3 is 12. I mean, odd plus odd is always even, so it's prime. And because it is great, it's not prime, sorry, because it's greater than 2. 4 and 5, exactly. Exactly, you can use 4 and 5. Awesome. So in here you can use 4 and 5, and you cannot use numbers less than, because your number, I mean your sum shouldn't be 3, shouldn't be 5, and shouldn't be 7. It should be odd, but it cannot be 3 or 7 or 3 or 5 or 7. The smallest number that this sum can be is 9. And so if n is less than or equal to 4, there's no way. If n is less than or equal to 4, and you know that n is at least 2, so you have at least 2 numbers. If n could be 1, 1 would work. But because n is greater than or equal to 2, for n less than or equal to 4, there's no way, because you have an odd and even number next to each other, and their sum cannot reach 9. There's no way that their sum reaches 9. So there would be no way. But if n is at least 5, let's just use 4 and 5 in the borders, and then put all the other even numbers here and all the other odd numbers in here. And this way you're going to have the answers. The sum of each two consecutive number is going to be composites. Does it make sense? If it is clear for you, please put a plus or use this emoji. Awesome. Nice. It's nice that it was clear. Yes, Tourist has participated after a while. In NAC, I asked Tourist if he's gonna continue participating in Div 1 contests or not. And he said yes, he will continue. Even if he loses points, he will participate in Div 1 contest. I was asking if he wants to save that 4,000 rating, that Tourist label or not. But he says he will participate. So I'm also waiting for the next contest that he's going to be participated in. That's going to be very, very interesting. Okay. New account. Tourist using a new account. That would be so funny. I mean, consider that Tourist accounts would be banned for having a fake account. Yes, I think, yes. I think he will just keep continuing participating. I hope that he will forever continue participating in contests, because if Tourist does not participate in CF contests would be less fun. I mean, he makes it, it's like Messi and Ronaldo in football. Football without Messi and Ronaldo now is less fun. But, and also CP Codeforces without Tourist is less fun. Yeah. And guys, if you want, you can also join our Telegram channel in here. If you want to join our community, I have a photo with Tourist and a photo with Mike as well in there. In NAC, sorry, why I said in NAC, in World Finals, in ICBC World Finals, I saw them and we took pictures. Who is Tourist? You don't know Tourist? Could you review my CF? If you want, in one of the topic streams, I can dedicate one of the topic streams to review your CF handles, if you want. One of the topic streams can be for reviewing your CF handles. And guys, with high probability, I think either on Monday or on Tuesday, we're gonna have our topic stream on Beatmask as well. We're gonna move on that. Yeah, sure. I will start talking about the next questions. So I hope someday I do interviews. That would be so fun for myself as well. That would be very fun. Okay, so let's talk about the next problem now. Problem D. I don't want to make you more weighted than this. So, problem D, Sharky Surfing. Moalani loves surfing on her Sharky surfboard. Do you guys know that's where is the origin of the names? I mean, where are them from? I think the last contest, I mean the one before this, Div 2, I think was from Mexico. They have Japan. What is the country of these names? Does anyone know? By the way, Moalani's surf pass can be modeled by a number line. She starts at position 1 and the pass ends at position L. When she is at position X with a jump power of K, she can jump to any integer position in the interval X to X plus K. Initially, her jump power is 1. Her surf pass isn't completely small. There are n hurdles on her pass. He cannot ever go to the interval from L to R, meaning that he can never jump to this interval. And there are also m power-ups and certain positions on the pass. Power-up I is located at position xi and has a value of vi. When Moalani is in at position xi, she has the option to collect the power-up to increase her jump power by vi. There may be multiple power-ups at the same position. When she is at a position with some power-up, she may choose to take or ignore each individual power-up. No power-up is in the interval of any hurdle. What is the minimum number of power-ups she must collect to reach position L to finish the pass? If it's not possible to finish the pass, print -1. Okay, not China, probably. I see. Okay, okay. So the problem basically is saying that we start from 0 and go to L. Our jump power initially is 1. And if our jump power, it's always better to increase our jump power as much as possible, right? Initially it's 1. There are some power-ups at some point. We can use their power-ups to increase our jump power. And the point is that there are also some forbidden intervals that we can never get to those points. There are some Li and Ri's that we can never get to those points. So the point is that when we start from the beginning, it definitely makes sense to take all the power-ups if we do not care about how many power-ups we take. If we don't care about that, the best case is to take all of them and increase our power. That's going to be the best case. I mean, increasing our power wouldn't make any issue because we can always jump less than our maximum jump as well. So it's always good to improve our jump power. But the only issue is that we want to use the least number of power-ups possible. Well, the point in here is that for each point, I mean, when I reach, let me use here. I mean, let me use the same drawing that I had in here. When I reach this Li, the point is that my power, my jump power must be at least Ri minus Li plus 1, because I have to jump over every position in here. So when I reach Li minus 1, my next place must be at least Ri plus 1. So when I reach Li minus 1, element before Li, I have to, in the next time, I have to at least go to Ri plus 1. So it's going to be even Ri minus Li plus 2. There's an additional plus 1 as well. So the point is that I have a lower bound on the length of my jump. Yes, thank you. It's Ri minus Li plus 2. You're right. So the point is that there's a lower bound. That when I reach here, my jump power should reach at least this much. Okay, my jump power should reach at least this much when I get to here. And the point is that I have some limits. I start from the beginning and I have some limits. Every time when I reach some points, I should have at least some jump power. I can start from the beginning and consider all of these requirements that I have. I'm gonna have several requirements. I can show my requirements with some pairs. Let's show them with, for example, BI and LI. BI and let's use something instead of L, like FI. It says that when I reach point BI, my jump power till there must be at least Fi. This is the requirements that I have. Also, I will have some pair of jump powers that I can increase. I mean, I can have, at some point, I can increase it by some value. So I have some also. What are the variables they have used? Xi and Vi, which means that when I reach at point Xi, I can improve my jump power by Vi. I can go over these pairs. I can either merge them or use two-pointer. But I want to see them one by one in their ordering. I can either merge them. For example, I set a tuple, for example, these ones, the requirements. I added 0 at the beginning of them, 0 and Bi and Fi. It's a pair of int and pair of int and int, for instance. And this is 1 and Xi and Vi. I just want to go over all these requirements and these places that I can increase my power one by one in the sorted order. And the point is that whenever I see the opportunity to increase my jump power, I will put it into some set, save this value, save that how much I can increase it. Just make sure if you use set, you can use duplicated values as well. Maybe you can define a set of pair. So my main idea is to use greedy. I do not increase my jump power when I don't have to. I will wait. Whenever I needed to increase my jump power, I will increase that. Whenever I reach a requirement and I see that I do not meet this requirement, I see that I do not have enough jump power. I'm at Bi and my jump power is not Fi. I will look at my set. I see that what is the greatest value, the greatest increase that I can have. What is the next greatest increase that I can have? What is the next one? I will start from the biggest element in set. Each time I will take the biggest one and increase my jump power with the biggest one. So I have a buffer. I have a set that I keep all the increases that I can have. And then you can just, each time see that what is the jump power that you need to have. And if it needed to increase, definitely it's more optimal for you to use the one that is greater. So you keep this set and each time you will add the greater number to your jump power. And you will go forward. So this way you see that if at some points you could never reach Fi, then there's no way. I mean, even if you use everything in set and use all of them, you could not reach Fi. Otherwise, you are using the minimum possible number of elements. You are removing them from the beginning, from the end of the set, because you're removing the biggest ones and add them to your jump power. So this is the way that you can solve this problem. A question is that why greater? What if I needed this big buff later? Well, the point is that it makes no difference if you just use it right now or use it in future. You're gonna have it forever once you take it. So you can take it now. Why take it later? Even if you have it now, take it now, you're gonna have it later as well. So there won't be any issue. It's not like you have used it and you're not gonna have it anymore. Your power will increase. And the values at X's are 1, 3, and 5. Okay, if the values are 1, 3, and 5, when you reach 6, in your set you have 1, 3, and 5. And all of them are in your set, right? Your requirement is 6 in here, and you have 1, 3, and 5 in here, in your sets. So you will start from the beginning. I think that what you meant is that it's better to use 5 and 1, but we are using 5 and 3. And I'm showing that that doesn't make any difference, because I will choose this 5 and then I will choose this 3. I will choose these 2. The cost of it is 2. Because I'm gonna anyway take 2 of them. I'm gonna take 2 jumps. I mean 2 of these powers that are there. I'm gonna take 2 of them. So there's no difference if I take 5 and 1 or 5 and 3. Both of them cost me 2. So if both of them cost me 2, it's better for me to take the ones that are greater. I will increase my jump power in 8. I said that there's no harm in making our jump power greater. And that wouldn't make any issues. Does it make sense? Is it completely clear? I will show you a code as well. If it's clear, please again put a plus or use this emoji. Also, it's not like the buffer is permanent or what. No. I do not consider it is permanent or what. I'm saying that I do not decide yet if I want to take them or not. The point is that I'm answering it offline. It's sort of like that. I just decide that later. I mean, when I reach here, it's not like when I reach here, when I reach this 6, I will take this 5 and 3. When I reach this 6, I will say that I will decide to take this 5 and this 3. I will decide to take this 5 and 3 when I reach this 6. So I take them exactly when I see them, but I have not made the decision if I want to take them or not. It's not like my buffer is permanent, I can take them in future. It's like I make the decision here that, okay, it made sense to take that one at that time. Okay, so this is the main thing. Is it clear? Bad audio? Is the audio okay or not? Is it for everyone? Please do a stream on interactive soon. Sure. I will definitely put it in the options in Telegram. Shoman. Audio is fine. Good. Good. So, if you don't have a question, I'll show you a code now as well. If you don't have a question about this, what I explained, let me find a code. Problem D. And maybe we see other solutions as well in here. Okay, if you take a look at this code, he has a tuple, he's seen x and y will be, and change y to y minus x plus 2, he keeps them in this A. And then for x and v, x and v, seen x and v, for each ranges upper bound of x and 0 and this, if it is equal to a dot end continue. Okay, so basically what he's doing in this code is that he's doing exactly what I told you. He gets to somewhere and he says that jump power is less than D. What he does is that greedily he will look at the sets, and as long as jump was less than D, he will consider R begin of the sets, the last element of the sets, and removes that and adds that to jump power. So basically he has some set which is some buffer, and each time, as long as while jump was less than B, he would increase jump power but set that R begin and then erase it from the set. And in the meantime, if set became empty and jump power was still less than D, then he will see us -1 and will return. So this is how it would work. So basically we have a while, and while jump is less than D, we will just see that what is at the end of our set, what is our beginning of our set, we will remove that and add that to our jump power. Is it clear? Shall we move on to the next problem? Priority queue would also work as well, yes. What if no valid pairs? I mean, if you mean that, if you mean the case that there are no valid solutions, in that case, I mean that's the case that our jump is less than the and our set is empty. In that case, we would just print -1 and we will return from the function. Is there a reason not to use priority queue here, or is it up to preference? It's up to preference. Both works. Both priority queue and set works. Whatever that you're more comfortable with. It is easy if I know the jump buffer stays. Yes, in the problem statement it does not stay, but the way we look at it, we simplified it ourselves by looking at it this way, because the solution does not change. It's not like the character has the choice to keep this buffer and do it later. It's like we want to find the most optimal way for the character. So it's like we make the decision that he should, I mean, we are just running something to decide that what he should take and what he should not take. We are just making the decision here. It's not like we take that jump power here. It's like we make the decision here that, okay, it's good to take this one and this one. It was good to take it then. And then we tell the character that when we reached here, just take this. So when he reaches some point, he should take the power there. But we said that, okay, we do not make the decision for now. We will be patient. We will continue to see what comes to us. And then when we see that something came to us, then we make the decision that, okay, there we had to take that one. Can you do a dry run on one of the test cases? Yes. Sadly for PY today, converted 3 solutions to CPP due to TLA. Okay, so you were using Python, and I saw that some of the solutions were in Python. Okay, let's do dry run if you want to talk about have dry run as well. Consider this first case. I will quickly do a dry run. We have 2 bad intervals. One of them is from 7 to 14, and one of them is from 30 to 40. Let's just write them here, 30 to 40. And we start from the beginning, and our jump power is initially 1. Our choices, I mean our chances to increase our jump power, one of them is at position 2 that we can increase by 2, one of them is at position 3 that we can increase by 1. In position 3 we can also increase by 5, and in position 18 we can increase by 2, and in position 22 we can increase by 32. So the point is that when you reach here, when you reach point 6, your jump power must be at least 9, right? Initially it is 1. It must be at least 9. Initially it is 1. I forgot that the initial is 1. That was why I was thinking. Initially it was 1. So we see that it should become 9. So initially it's 1. First we increase it by 5. We see that it does not still work. It's not still 9. Then we increase it by 2. We see that it still does not work. It's still 8. Then we increase it by 1. We see that, okay, it works. We use all of things that we have. Then in here, we will add 2 and 32 for our sets. And then when we reach 29, our jump power must be at least 12. We have to choose another thing. We get 32. By choosing 32, our jump power will be 41. And that would be more than enough. So we do not add this next to us anymore, because we don't need anything else. So we will go and get passed over this interval. But if in future we get to a point that our jump power must be 42, at least 42, then we need to take this one as well. Then we have this one in our buffer. We haven't yet made our decision if we want to take it or not. Maybe in future we decided that, okay, I need this one as well. The point is that for some ones I choose that I'm gonna take it. For some ones I have them in my buffer. Later on I will decide if I want to take them or not. Maybe in future I see that my power should get into 42, so I will get them in future. I will get these 2 in future as well. Does it make sense? Is it clear now? Can't wait for problem G. Okay, I try to go faster to get there as well. Get there sooner, I mean. Okay, if you're ready, we can just now move on to the next problem, problem E. Do you guys have any question about this one? I guess not. So, okay. What would be the rating of problem D? Well, what do you guys think would be the rating of problem D? If I want to think, I'll think and tell you, you guys say as well. You guys can discuss it as well. I think the rating might be around 1600 or 1500. 1300, 1500, 1500, 1400. I think that, yeah, I think maybe 1500. No, it's not 1100. I don't think it's 1100. We can wait for it and see what's gonna be. But I think maybe 1500. Or maybe you're right, maybe even 1400. Okay, I see. So we'll wait to see that what happens. My guess is maybe 1500. Or maybe even less than that, because you say that it's less than that. Maybe it's even less than that, 1400 or less than that. But my guess is around 1400 and 1500. Okay. So let's move on to the next problem. Problem E. Problem E is an interactive problem. In this problem, it says that Kachina challenged you to guess her favorite binary string S of length n. She defines f of L and R as the number of subsequences of 0, 1 in SL to SR. Two subsequences are considered different if they are formed by deleting characters from different positions in the original string, even if the resulting subsequence consists of the same character. So, f of L and R is the number of 0, 1s in your string. And you want to find out what the string S is. And you can ask some question. In each question, you choose two indices, L and R, and ask the value of f of L and R. You have to determine an output S after asking Kachina no more than n questions. With n questions, you want to find out what the string S is. And if there's no way, you should print impossible. And you should definitely not print impossible if there is a way to find the string. So basically, you have some string S. You have some string S. And you can choose L and R each time, and it will give you f of L and R. That is the number of 0, 1s that we have, the number of 0, 1s that we have in the range from L to R. And you want to use it to find out that what the string is. Well, first of all, I say that and the number of questions must be at most n. The number of questions is also at most n. I say that first, let's choose the whole array. Let's just hold the whole array and see what happens. If we choose the whole array, and the answer was 0, so if f of 1 and n was equal to 0, then I say that it's impossible to find out. This is impossible. Why? Because if there are no 0, 1s, the array can be all 0s or all 1s or a prefix 1 and then 0. So I mean that if f of 1 and n is 0, the array would look like this. There's a prefix, it can be empty as well. A prefix of 1s and a suffix of 0s. And the length of both of them, as I said, could be 0 as well. So if f of 1 and n is 0, this is impossible. There's no 1 after n is 0. Till some points we have 1s, and then from there we only have 0s. And we cannot decide that what is the case. What is the length of this prefix of 1, and then, we have k 1s and n minus k 0s, and we cannot find what k is. So in this case, it's going to be impossible. Does it make sense so far? If it is clear so far, please again use this emoji. Use this emoji if it is clear so far. So I say that if the answer is 0 is gonna be impossible. So because we have a prefix of 1s and then it's gonna be 0s, and there's no way to figure out that's how many 1s do we have and then how many 0s. Okay, otherwise we would definitely have some 0, 1. Otherwise we would definitely have some 0, 1. There definitely must be some points that we have 0 and then after that we have a 1. My idea is this. My idea is to use 2 pointers at the beginning and at the end. I know that my answer is not 0. I know that my answer is not 0 at the beginning. Let's move this left pointer forward. And let's see if my answer decreases by doing that or does not decrease by doing that. I know that f of 1 and n was greater than 0. Let's consider f of 2 and n. If it was the same as f of 1 and n, then definitely this element was 1, because removing it did not have any effect on our f. If it became less than what it was, then definitely this is 0. Because we know that we have some 0, 1 somewhere. We know that there is definitely 2 consecutive elements as well. I mean, there are so many subsequences that are 0, 1, but also there exists some 0 and 1 that are next to each other as well. There definitely exists some 0 and 1 that are also next to each other. Not only they are subsequents, but they are next to each other. Because we have 2 cases. Either we have a prefix of 1s and then 0s, or we should have at some point 2 adjacent elements such that the first one is 0 and the next one is 1. You can easily see that if the first number is 1, by removing it, f of 1 and n will not change. And if it is 0, definitely by removing it, f of 2 and n will change compared to f of 1 and n. So by just comparing these 2 values to seeing that if it changed or not, you can find out if the first element is a 0 or a 1. And then you can again move it forward again. Compare it with f of 2 and then you can again consider f of 3 and then and see if it decreases or does not decrease. You will continue doing this by going forward. You will continue doing this and find out what is each index. But the point is that you can do it as long as your answer is greater than 0. If at some point you get at some points to some f of L and n, consider the first place that f of L and n is 0. It was greater than 0 before it, but here it is 0. What can we say about L minus 1? We know that f of L and n is 0. What is the value in, what is S of L? L minus 1, sorry. What is S of L minus 1? If f of L and n is the first place that it is 0. What can we say about L minus 1? Do you guys know that? So I increase. I start from my left pointer and I will go forward. And each time I see that if it decreases or not. If it decreases, then definitely that element was 0. Because by going forward, the number of 0 ones decreased. If it did not change, it definitely is 1. But the point is that at some points, this becomes 0. L minus 1 is definitely 0, as you said. But after L, I will talk after this. But for now, about S of L minus 1, we are sure that it is 0. Because it decreased. I mean, our f decreased when I moved forward from here. I know that f of L minus 1 and L n was greater than 0, but f of L and n is 0. So definitely S of L minus 1 was 0. Definitely it was 0. Because by going forward, I do not have any 0 1s anymore. But when we had it, we had 0 1. So definitely the 0 of that 0 1 was this. The 0 of that 0 1 was this. So this should be 0. If it was 1, by going forward, nothing would change. And what can I say about S of L? What can I say about S of L? So S of L minus 1 is equal to 0. What can I say about S of L? Exactly, yeah. S of L minus 1 is equal to 0 because F is decreased to 0. Why can't we ask further queries? I will tell you. I will tell you why when we reach 0 we cannot ask further queries. So what is S of L? Can you also say that? Okay, I'll show you Giangli's codes as well. So what S of L is going to be? Yes, and S of L itself must be 0 or must be 1. Can anyone find that out? Let's see who can answer this. So I'm saying that F of L minus 1 and n was greater than 0. When I move my left pointer forward, my F becomes 0. So definitely this must be 0. That's when I moved forward, its F decreased. But I also can say something about L. Yeah, you can also explain your logic if you want. That would be also interesting. If you had any other solutions, you could also say that. Guys, I say that S of L is equal to 1. I say that S of L is equal to 1. Yes, exactly. It's equal to 1. Why? Because if it was also a 0, then removing this 0 wouldn't make the answer 0. Because I had a substitute for it. I mean, assume that this is 0. And I know that by removing that, my answer has become 0. So it means that I had some 0, 1, that this was in it. This was definitely in it. Because by removing it, I do not have any 0, 1s anymore. And because it is the leftmost element, it must be 0 in that 0, 1. The point is that if the next number is also 0, then I could match this 0 with this one. And my answer wouldn't get to 0. My F of L and N wouldn't be 0 if this leftmost one is 0 in L. So S of L must be equal to 1. If S of L was also 0, then the point is that my F wouldn't turn to 0 by removing L minus 1. L minus 1 was the last 0 that could be paired with another one. Okay. Is it clear? Did you guys understand it, or do you need re-explanation for it? Hi, Lipon. So I will move forward the first place that my answer turns to 0. The first place that the answer turns to 0, the element before it is 0, the element after it is 1, definitely. So it's like I found that consecutive 0, 1 that I was looking for. This is the last consecutive 0, 1 that I have. Are fast typing coming with time, or there is a technique before it? I will talk about it after talking about this problem. Is it clear so far? Do you have any questions about it, or is it clear? If it is clear, please put a plus or use this emoji again. And if it is not, let me know to explain it again. So I go forward, and at some point my F becomes 0. When my F becomes 0, it means that the element before it was 0, the element after it is a 1. Okay. So why I cannot continue doing this after that? Because from here, if I continue moving my left pointer forward, if I continue doing this, then always it is 0. And again, it's like the previous case that I had in here. Again, I just know that in here I have several 1s and then several 0s. But I don't know that from where my suffix of 0s will start. So the point is that I cannot continue with moving my left pointer forward anymore. So now I will work with my right pointer. I know that how many questions I have asked so far. First, I asked a question that what is the whole array, and then I've moved my pointer forward and forward. So far, if you see, I have asked L questions. I have asked this interval before the first element, before the second element, before the third element, and before the element number L. So I've asked L questions so far. Now I will move back my pointer to here so that I know that my answer is greater than 0. And I will move my right pointer left. Each time I see that by moving it left, does the answer decrease or what? And definitely, if there is a 1 here, the answer must be decreased. If there is a 0 here, the answer must not change. So again, I will move the right pointer leftward. If the answer decreased, that is definitely a 1. If it did not decrease, that is definitely a 0. So I will start from the end and I will go leftward. And if I reach at some point, I will continue doing this, and it's just enough to come here. And the point is that I will move my right pointer to here, and because I know that what is L minus 1 and L, I need to find out everything that is in here. So my first question is, in my first question, my R is going to be Fn minus 1. In my last question, my R is going to be L plus 1. Minus L plus 1 plus 1, which is going to be N minus L minus 1 questions in total in here, in these suffixes. And therefore, in total, my answers is going to be less than or equal to N. So my question is not going to be greater than N. But let me make sure that I haven't used any plus 1 and minus 1 mistakenly. I just want to count that how many I have used exactly. I want to make sure that it is N minus 1. I used here 1. This is after L plus 1, so this is not, okay. This is not ever used as the left pointer or the right pointer. Yes, it's correct. So in total, the number of questions is going to be exactly N minus 1. I had L questions that I moved my left pointer for considering the first question. And N minus L minus 1 questions is starting from right and going leftward. Is it clear? Is it completely clear? My iPhone's charge is also dying, unfortunately. I hope that it does not turn off. Is it clear? Is the solution clear? If it is, please put a plus or use this emoji. So the main idea was moving these pointers. If initially the answer was 0, then there's no way to find out. Otherwise, I will move left pointer forward or right pointer leftward. If the first element is 0, by moving the first pointer rightward, the answer would decrease. If the last element is 1, by moving the last pointer leftward, the answer would decrease. Otherwise, it won't decrease. And that would help you to find out what is the last element, first element, and the last element. But the only thing is that your answer should be greater than 0 to find this out. And what is the logic behind it? What is the logic that your answer must be greater than 0 to be able to find this out? The point is that if your answer is 0, you cannot really know that if this is 0 or 1. This could also be 0, and maybe we do not have any 1s in here, that the answer wouldn't decrease by moving left pointer forward. The point is that when your answer is greater than 0, you are sure that if there is a 0 here, you would definitely have another 1 in here as well, so that they could be paired with each other. And your answer would definitely decrease if your answer is already greater than 0. But if your answer is already 0, the point is that if your answer is right now 0, then you cannot know that if there is another 1 in here as well. So maybe this is 0 too, and everything else is 0 as well. Or maybe this is 1, and the answer does not decrease. So you cannot understand if your f is already 0. But if it is not 0, you can understand. Tourist got wrong answer on first attempt on E. Looks like no way to test interactive problem. I will check that out. If you don't have any questions, I will show you a code as well. I will show you the code of problem E as well. You wanted to see Jiangli's code? Let's see what Jiangli has done. because you asked for that. So you have T test cases, you will see in all the test cases, you have N. And what he has done for I from 1 to N, he queries 1 to I plus 1. So he queries all the prefixes except, okay, so there are N minus 1 questions so far. He asks all the prefixes. And if all of them were 0, the answer is impossible. Definitely, because it means that if you have none of them, I mean, he could also check that if the last one of them is 0. If the last one of them is 0, the rest are 0 as well. So, okay, he checks that this part is not very important. He checks that if there are 0, it is impossible. Otherwise, I starts from 0, while AI is equal to 0, I plus plus. Okay, so he will find the first prefix that the answer is not 0. He will find the first prefix that the answer is not 0. Definitely in that prefix, the last element must be 1, and the element before that is 0. Again, that's very similar to the solution we talked about here. So the point is that in here, he will find the first prefix that its answer is not 0. Its F is not 0. Definitely the last element in the prefix is 1. Definitely the element before it is 0. Because otherwise, if that was also 1, that would also work. So this one was not the first position that the answer is not 0. Yes, so he says that everything before this must be 1s from for j from 0, j less than I minus AI, j plus plus, s of j equal to 1 for j plus from I, j to n. If a of j is greater than a of j minus 1, it is 1, otherwise it is 0. So from here to the end, he's comparing each one to the previous one. If it was increasing, if a of j was increasing compared to the previous one, like what we said, we should put a 1 there. If it is increasing, if a of j is greater than a of j minus 1, it is increasing, there must be a 1 there. Otherwise, there must be a 0 there. I just trying to find out also what is this for about, what he's doing in this for j from 0 to I minus AI. Okay, he basically is saying that whatever AI is in here, we can say that there must be AI zeros before this element, because in all of them there must be a 1 here, and we know that the answer was 0 before this. So if you take a look at this prefix, that the answer was 0, it must be several 1s, then several zeros. There must be several 1s and then several zeros in that prefix. I mean, this is how it would look like. I mean, in here, in this prefix looks like this. There are several 1s, then several zeros, and then you have seen the first one. So you can see that what the answer is. If the answer right now, if f is x, there must be exactly x zeros in here, and before that everything is 1. So basically it's saying that there's a 1 here, AI zeros before that, and I minus AI positions in the beginning are all 1s. So he will set all of them. He says that these many. This is I minus AI. These are all 1s. And then you have all zeros. And then you start from I. You have a 4 from here. Each time you will compare each element with the previous one. And you see that if it was more than the previous one, that element, you will put a 1 there. If it was not, you will put a 0 there. And this way you will find all the values. Is it completely clear? Is question E? Yes. There is geothermal video he teaches. I think it's called My Competitive Programming Setup. That's interesting. What are the 2 lines after main for? These 2 lines that you see in here are for just making cin and cout faster. iOS sync with the studio false and cin.tie, a 0 or null pointer. The point is that it just makes input and output faster. This is for the problems that you have a lot of input and output. It is used in those problems. Though, if it is very critical, if you are in a situation that is very critical, time limit is very critical, you need to use scanf and printf, if that's the case. But usually, you can use scene and cout, and these two lines make it faster. Doesn't that give error for interactive? It usually gives, usually in interactive problems, it is recommended to comment these two lines. But because he's using end L, it didn't. Interactive problems, the main thing that you need to do is to use end L, so that you make sure that it would shuffle. And the point is that you have to make sure that at the end of it's not shuffle, sorry, flush. It was flush. You will put a end L at the end, so that you will make sure that it will flush, and it will give the inputs to the computer, so that it can interact with the computer, and that it can get the next input afterwards. So you have to use end L, but myself, in order to make sure, I will also comment these two lines. But it would work, but to be 100% sure, I would comment these two lines as well. Without doing this, it gets accepted usually as well, but I try to make sure, and I would comment these lines as well. So I also recommend to you to try to comment these lines when you are working with interactive problems. Yes, NL just makes flush, and you make sure that interactive works. But if you wanna be cautious, you can do that as well. What don't we need to check 1n to find the total number of 0, 1? 1n is checked in this code. The last prefix is 1n in this code. So he will find out all the prefixes and compare each one of them with the previous one, and if it was increasing, he will add a 1 there. And the point is that he will work with that prefix in another way. He says that if I have 1, if I want to apply it to my solution, if I want to say that what he has done in my solution, it's like when he reaches here, instead of starting from the end, he will just say that what is the value in here. He will see that what is the value in here, and it says that after this 0, this was the last position that answer was greater than 0. He will see that what is the value in here, and then we will have exactly v1s here, and then the rest is 0. So we do not need to move the right pointer leftward afterwards. You can just see that what the number is in here, and then you have those many ones, and then the suffix is 0, all 0. That's the only difference that it has. Okay, do you guys want to move on to problem F now? Could you review my code? You can also say that in Telegram channel as well. Do you guys want to, do the most stuff you guys want to review another code and move on to problem F? What do most of you guys think? I'm okay to check the next code as well. But if you prefer to move on to the next problem, I can for now move on to the next problem, and you can put that in Telegram channel. Guys, all of you are more than welcome, as I said, to join our Telegram channel in here. I would definitely be happy if any of you would be there. So this is the link of the Telegram channel. If you want, you can put it there. Okay, so I will move to problem F for now, and I will talk about your question fast typing at the end as well. I don't know if you're looking for recommendations for fast typing, or you're asking if it is important. It is not usually that important in CP. In one sentence, if I want to tell you, it's usually the typing is not important, because the time of your thinking takes most of the contest, not how you type. Usually it does not have much importance. In your solution, don't you know the rest from the last positive? Yes, exactly. Also in my solution, as I said, from the last positive F, we know the number of ones that are after that, and then the rest are going to be 0. This code is active too, yes, it is. How to take this talent? You could go to monkey type and training typing there, monkeytype.com. Okay, let's move on to problem F. Ardent Flames. I think I haven't thought about this problem before. I've thought about the last problem G. But let's see what this problem is. It says that problem F, you have obtained new limited event character Gilonen or something like that. You decided to use her in combat. There are enemies in a line. The enemy from the left has health HI and is currently at position XI. Gilonen has an attack damage of M and you are ready to defeat the enemies with her. Gilonen has a powerful ground stomp attack. Before you perform any attacks, you select an integer P and position her there. And then afterwards, for each attack, she deals M damage to an enemy at position P, M-1 damage at position P-1, and P+1, M-2 to position P-1, P+2, and so on. Enemies that are at least a distance M away from Gilonen take no damage from attacks. If there are enemies at position X, she will deal this much damage to that enemy each hit. Note that you may not choose a different P for different attacks. So you first put your character at some place and that would damage the positions like this. If the distance is L, the damage would be M minus L at most. It's maximum of 0 and P minus L. Over all possible P-Os with the minimum possible number of attacks Gilonen must perform to defeat at least K enemies. You want to defeat K enemies. You want to kill K enemies at the end. Okay, what is the minimum number of attacks? M is also given to you. Yes, M is also given to you. Okay, so let's see some solution. Let me find a good solution to talk about that. Yes, also, yes, it has a hard problem statements. You can submit in 0 min, but yeah, but submitting in 0 min has no effect on your rating. I mean, it has a negligible effect on your final rating. So let me find a good solution for this problem. So we can either take a look at tourist's code or someone else's code. Let's take a look at tourist's code maybe and see what he has done. And you guys also, if you have solved F, you can say that in here as well. I'm waiting for it to load. It's getting very slow. Tourist the goat. Yeah. Yeah, it was more funny, more interesting if we had a rival for tourists as well. Like how in football there are Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, right now tourist has some gap to the next person. It was more funny if there were two people who had gap with the rest of the people. Okay, Codeforces is harming me right now. I don't know if it is Codeforces or my browser that does not load the solution, regardless of how many times I click on it. So I'm going to tourist profile. I'm also taking a look at editorial as well. Tourist and native, yes. It would be interesting if we had also yeah, that can be a good goal for someone to try to achieve that. Try to make accounts like native and compete with tourist. Ask him to send you the code. Can I explain the statement again? I will explain it again after I understood the solution too. But I will explain it completely again when I understood the solution as well. But for now, it's just saying that there are some enemies at some position, each of them have some health, and you want to choose a position and then have some attacks to kill them off. And you have to say that if how many attacks you need to make, what is the least number of attacks with which you can defeat at least K enemies. What is the least number of attacks that you can do to defeat at least K enemies? So I'm taking a look at editorial as well. It says that it's binary search. K enemies, how do you check if a specific answer is possible? I need to what Q keywords then we need to do that. Okay, yes. If the number is greater than M, then obviously you cannot kill this enemy not plus Q attacks as the maximum damage. Okay, that's very good. Yes. Yeah, that's very easy. This is very similar to the lead code problem that I talked yesterday about. How many of you participated in lead code yesterday? The last problem in yesterday contest was good. It was hard really, but it had also a hard code as well. So the problem is really finding whether or not there exists a point on at least K intervals. Yes, this is a classical problem that approaches by a sweep line algorithm stored in the event zone. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I will tell you the question and the solution now. I think you might have also understood the solution as well. So let me tell you this. It says that problem F says that you have obtained a new character and you want to use her in combat. There are n enemies in a line. The enemy number I from the left has health HI and is currently at position XI. She has an attack damage of M and you are ready to defeat the enemies with her. She has a powerful ground stomp attack. Before you perform any attack, you can select an integer P that you will position her, and for each other position, if some enemy is at distance L from her, the damage that enemy would take is gonna be P. This distance M minus this distance. If this distance is L, the damage that enemy will have is going to be M minus L. And you want to see that what is the minimum number of attacks that you must have in order to kill at least K enemies, defeat at least K enemies. You want to find the minimum number of attacks for that. Okay. So this is the statement. Is the statement clear so far? If the statement is not clear, let me know as well. Now I want to tell you the solution. So for the solution, what we can say is that let's do a binary search and say that I want to solve the problem in at most K steps. I want to kill, let's use another variable instead of K, D. I want to do D attacks and kill K monsters. But the point is that if I want to do D attacks, for each monster, for each enemy, I can know that what is gonna be the least damage that I should give this enemy each time. So for each enemy, assume that this enemy is at position XI and its health is HI. I have an enemy at position XI with health HI. The point is that the number of attacks on this enemy must be at least HI over D. I should have at least HI over D attacks on this enemy to kill it. Because each time my damage is D. And I need to have at least scaling of HI over H sub I over D attacks to kill it. If it was greater than if hi over d, which is the number of attacks, what is the damage? This is the damage that each attack should have. So I have d attacks, and this is the damage that I can have. If it was greater than m, then definitely it's not possible to do this, because my damage is at most m. My damage is at most m. So d is the number of attacks. Yes, I have d attacks, and the damage on this monster, if I want to kill it, its damage each time must be at least sailing of hi over d, otherwise it won't die. If it is greater than m, then it's not possible. Otherwise, it would give me some range of where my character can be. This gives me some range. The distance between my character and this monster must be at most m minus this damage. M minus this damage. Let's call it L. The distance must be at most this L. M minus hi sailing of hi over d. Because if the distance is exactly this much, then the damage each time would be at least this much hi over d, and that monster would die this way. So for this monster, you can give an interval starting from xi minus L going to xi plus L, and say that if my character is in this interval, this enemy will die if it is in this interval. So you're gonna have several intervals at the end, and your question would be this: when I have these several intervals, my question would be if I can find, intervals can be like anything, they have different lengths and they can be like anything. My question would be if I can find a point such that it has at least k intervals, it would be inside at least k intervals. This would be my question. And how can I do that? I can use sweep line in order to find that out. I can use a sweep line to find that out. If there is some point that at least k enemies are in that. How I can keep the starting point and the ending point of each interval. If some interval is from L to R, for example, it starts at L and ends at R. I can keep two values. I can keep a pair of L and plus 1. I say that when I reach position L, the number of intervals that cover that will be increased by 1. And when I reach R plus 1, I add minus 1. So I mean that the number of open intervals will decrease by 1. Then I sort them and I will go them one by one. I will go one by one on them. And if at some point the number of open intervals was greater than k, then I have at least k enemies to kill. And then I can say that my answer is possible. I can have D, otherwise I cannot have D. Okay. Is it clear? What we're doing? We use at the end. We have used sweep line to find out the answer. 57 watching, 57 likes. Nice. Also, tourist at the wiki page, yes, tells that he discovered Archimedes' principle independently. Nice. His parents also played a huge part. How many parents brought their child to something like this from such a young age? Goated parents. Brother, in the last comment, it was my first one that I could do 3% is these two. Now I am 100, 1100 plus. Nice, great. In the last contest, okay. That's very nice. That's your rating is increasing. Could you run through with an example of for each interval? Please explain the plus 1, minus 1. Yes, sure. Okay. So I will elaborate more on this. I'm saying that at the end. So you have found out that how we find the intervals. We're gonna have several intervals, and I want to find out if there exists a point such that we have it is inside at least k intervals. The point is that for each interval is from L to R. It's like I want to increase everything in this part. I want to say that all the points from L to R, they have one additional enemy that they will kill. So what I can say is that, sorry for this, something, the head of my pen just flew away. Sorry. So I'm saying that everything must be increased in this interval. So what I can say is that at L, I can increase the number of intervals I have. At R plus 1, this interval will end. So I should decrease the number of open intervals I have when I reach R plus 1. So the point is that when I have L, a new interval will open. So the number of open intervals will increase by 1. When I reach R plus 1, one interval will close. So I should decrease the number of intervals by 1. So at the end, if I sort all these pairs and go over them one by one, I can have a CNT that's how many open intervals I have right now. And I can just add the second of these pairs to that value. And this way, the number of open intervals will be updated, and I can just see that if at some point CNT was at least K, it is possible, otherwise it is not possible. So the point is that at point L, I should increase the number of open intervals by 1. At point R plus 1, I should decrease the number of open intervals by 1. So that is the reason of plus 1 and minus 1. This is very similar to prefix sums as well. You can also watch the video for prefix sums if you want to see more about prefix sums. I have sent it in many previous live streams to you, so if you haven't watched it already, you can watch it here. Prefix sum is very important. This is also similar to prefix sums. So, is it completely clear? Do you have any other question? I couldn't solve the number B problem. Wait a minute. Yes, Turkish codes are clean. A and B, which content should I look for? Only div 3. You can participate in div 3, div 2, and div 4. Div 4 also exists. And if I were you, I would participate in all of them. Div 3 and div 4s are better, but I tell you that participating in div 2s are also beneficial. So you can also participate on div 2s as well. Participate in div 2s as well. Yes, you can. Yeah, I also recommend, if you have time, participate in all the contests. That would be beneficial. When we reach at the end, don't even skip div 1. Next Friday, please take class of binary search. I can do binary search as well. Now so it's clear how do we determine each interval. Div 4s have disappeared. There are no div 4s anymore. Or you just mean that they have not been. I mean, there was not any div 4 contest recently. Or you're just saying that it won't be anymore. Has, for example, Mike announced that there won't be anymore. About finding the intervals for each enemy, you know that what should be the least damage that each time it should take. It should be in a way that the damage times the number of attacks, damage times the number of attacks must be greater than its health, so that we make sure that it would die. So this gives you some upper bound on what's the damage, some lower bound on what the damage should be. Therefore, it gives you some upper bound on the distance that you should have from this enemy. If you want to kill this enemy, you should be within this range. So each enemy gives you some range that you should be within that range. And if you're not, you can't kill this one. So you're going to have several ranges. You want to find out if there is a place, there is a point that is inside at least K range. That's the only thing you need to find out. Centered decomposition stream next, please. Yes, I think that you have asked centered decomposition many times. For me, there's no difference. It's you that you choose. I'm okay to do any of them, but it's you that you choose. I do whatever that most of you do. Sorry for that if it's taking time. You are my favorite competitor. Thank you very much. I would love to. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Heshan, after you told solve as many problems as possible, I try to implement this, and I'm seeing gradual improvement. Nice, nice. Very good. Have I lost any comment? Help me for this case. What case? Thanks, clear now. Nice, awesome. There's been no diff to contest for last 2-3 months. Oh, that's bad. I hope that there would be diff force again, because they are helpful, I think. My whole friend group is asking for. Okay, I'll definitely put it in votes. I will definitely put it in votes if most of you guys decide to do centered decomposition. I'm completely okay with that. I will do centered decomposition in that case. Sure. So let's also talk about the last problem G. Natlan Exploring. In this problem, it says that you are Natlan Exploring. It says that you are exploring the stunning region of Natlan. This region consists of n cities, and each city is related with an attractiveness a sub I. A directed edge exists from city I to city j if and only if I is less than j and GCD of ai and aj is not 1. GCD of x and y denotes the greatest common divisor of integers x and y. Starting from city 1, your task is to determine the total number of distinct passes you can take to reach city n, modulo this. Two passes are different if and only if the set of cities visited is different. So you start from city 1, you want to go to city n. Each time you can go from city I to city j if I is less than j and GCD of ai and aj is not 1. You have to say that. How many ways do you have to do that? Well, my main idea for this is to use dp. Yes, right. It's my idea for this, my solution for this idea is to use dp. dp of I is gonna be the number of passes from 1 to n. The number of passes from 1 to n. And the point is that when I want to find out dp of I, you can easily say that dp of I is gonna be initially dp of 1 is 1. This is the base case. The first point, dp of 1 is 1. There's one way to get from 1 to 1. Just do nothing. When you are there, it's gonna be 1. dp of I is gonna be sum of for each j less than I and GCD of a and ii and aj greater than 1, sum of these dp's. So dp of 1 is gonna be 1, dp of I is gonna be this sum. Right? Do you guys agree with this so far? Let me see that what you have talked. DP optimization segment tree, extremely interesting problem, but the tutorial solution is much simpler. I will look at it. We will look at tutorial as well. Excited for this, awesome. You mean all? I'm not sure if you're with me. Oh, that's from people. Thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome. Very good. So let's. So this is clear so far, right? I want to say that dp of I is gonna be the sigma of all the dp of j such that j is less than I and GCD of ai and aj is greater than 1. It's like I'm fixing that. What was the cell that I was on before I have a pass from 1 to I just fixed that before on which element I was. I fixed on some j's. Definitely GCD of ai and aj must be greater than 1, and I will add for all such j's dp of j to dp of I. So my question is now to how to find out this dp of j. How to find out this dp of j. And I know that my limits are like this. My limits is in a way that my n is up to 2 times 10 to the 5th, and ai's are up to 10 to the 6th. So n is up to 2 times 10 to the 5th and AIs are up to 10 to the 6. So you can see that AIs are also small, because most of them in these number theory problems that you have to do something with AIs, they are gonna be small numbers. The point is that in order to solve it, what you can do when you want to find the sum of all these DPs, that we have in here, we can use inclusion-exclusion principle. We can use inclusion-exclusion principle. And how would that work? Inclusion-exclusion principle. Well, what we can say about it is that for any prime number, I can just calculate sum of p, which is the sum of the dp's of all the elements that are a multiple of p. So for each ai, such that ai modulo p is 0, let's use in C++ formatting here. For each I such that ai modulo p is 0, I will sum up dp of I. This is going to be sum of p for each prime. And now if I say that dp of I is equal to the sum of all the sum of prime factors, the point is that I have the dp, I just have overcounted. I have overcounted the ones that have 2 prime factors in common. So then I have to subtract sum of the product of 2 prime factors. I could also find out for any 2 prime factors how many numbers are divisible by the product of them, and subtract that, and so on. So I have to go over all square-free numbers. Square-free numbers means that the numbers such that all the powers are at most 1. All the powers are at most 1. So they are the product of several primes. Their powers are at most 1. What you can do is that you can just see each number. For example, you are on some number I. AI is equal to, AI has these prime factors, P1, P2 to Pk. P1, P2 to Pk. I can say that I can have a 4 on all the subsets of it. If the size was odd, I will add it to my answer. If the size was even, I will decrease it from my answer. And I can just see that how I can, for each one of them, I will just add or subtract some regarding considering the size of the subset that I'm choosing. And this way I will find out dp of I, and then I will update all of those sums as well. And this way I will have all the dp's. Is it clear? Does it make sense? I will also read editorial solution for you as well. But so far, if it is clear, please again use the emoji or put a plus in the chats. Put a plus in the chats or use this emoji if it is clear for you guys. So basically, I am considering all of the AIs. For each one of them, I want to find dp of I. So I will go over all its prime factors and I do inclusion exclusion on them. For each one of them, for each subset of them, I will find out that how many numbers dp of I is gonna be I will add up that sum of that product of sum of p, sum of each element, sum of each x is the sum of the dp's of sum of all the dp's of the numbers that modulo x are 0. dp of I for all of them. This is sum of x. It's like the sum of dp's of all the multiples of x. And then the point is that for each subset of them, I see that what is the sum of the product of this subset, and regarding considering the size, if it is odd or even, I will add or subtract that number from my total answer. This is inclusion exclusion principle. If you want, I can have a topic stream on inclusion exclusion principle as well. And then at the end, I just need to find out what is dp of n. The dp of n is going to be my answer at the end. I can also show you the code as well. Maybe it is not allowed. I can check in the setting as well. Maybe it is not allowed. You can try. I will also tell you tutorial solution as well. Okay, so maybe it's not. I will check the setting after this topic stream, and if I can, I will fix it for the next topic stream if YouTube lets it. Maybe YouTube does not give this permission, I don't know. Okay, showing future. Yes, so basically, I mean, dp of I is gonna be, I mean, the point is that assume that your number is, for example, let's say 60. The prime factors of 60 is 2 and 3 and 5. I do not care about that I have two 2's. I just care that it is divisible by 2. The point is that the previous number should have some factor in common with this one. So it should either have 2 or 3 or 5. So I do exclusion to find that out. First, I consider sum of 2. This way, I have the sum of all the DPs that they also have 2. Because they have 2 in common with 60. So their DP should be added to DP of 60. I mean this number. Then I will add sum of 3 as well, because all the numbers that have 3 also, they must be considered. Okay, they also had to be considered. So I will add sum of 3 as well. Then I will consider sum of 5. Then I will consider sum of 5, and because everything that's, if a number is divisible by 5, it has 5 in common with this 60. And then I will subtract sum of 6. I will subtract sum of 10. And I will subtract sum of 15. Because these, if a number is divisible by 6, it is both considered in 2 and in 3. So it is calculated twice, so I should subtract it once. Also, if it is 10, it is divisible by both 2 and 5, so I should subtract it once. If it is 15, it is divisible both by 3 and 5, so I should subtract it once. And then at the end, I should add 30 to it. And this way, I can find out that what is the answer at the end. This way, I can find out that what are the sum of all the DPs that they have something, either 2 or 3 or 5 in common with 60. When we have this case that it is either 2 or 3 or 5, we can use inclusion and exclusion. We can choose each subset that assume that, okay, this subset is going to be the same in most of them. And the rest of them can be there, and they can be also common divisor, or they can be not common divisors. But I say that this set of prime numbers are going to be common divisors. And then I choose sum to find out that what is the sum of their DPs. And at the end, considering the size of that, I will add or subtract that from the answer. You have to know inclusion, exclusion in order to be able to solve it. So if you're not familiar with inclusion, exclusion, you have to learn that first. Today's lit code? Oh, you mean the contest that was yesterday? For me, I mean for you today morning. If you mean the contest, I have streamed it. Oh, daily question. I will take a look at it. Maybe today I will look at it, and maybe if I can, I will explain it. But maybe today I will look at it. I'm not very familiar with LitCodes. I have recently participated in 2 LitCode contests. I have recently started streaming. So is there a problem each day that is the same for everyone? I mean, the daily problem is for everyone? Or is it, does it consider your rating? Nice. I will check that out. Maybe if I could, I will make a video of that if you guys want that. So is it the problem? I mean, my main question if that's the same for everyone. I mean, everyone gets a hard problem, or it's different. It considers the rating of the people. Okay, it's the same for everyone. Okay, I see. That's nice. That's interesting. So okay, I will try to make videos for them as well, if I can, or do live streams for them maybe. Okay, denote DP of I equals to the number of ways to get to city I. Brute forcing all possible previous cities is out of the question. I want to see that what is also the solution of the tutorial. Is it the same or not? Mobius okay, it also uses inclusion exclusion. So yes, it also is the same solution that I did. I mean, it considers all the prime factors and finds out that for these prime factors, uses inclusion exclusion principle to find out the sum of all the DPs of J's that they have something in common with this AI. It will pre-compute the set of all prime numbers using sieve of Eratosthenes. For each AI, we have to consider all 2 to the power of f of AI subsets of prime factors. Yes. So that's completely the same. Okay. Nice. So we have done all the problems of today. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you have learned something from it. Again, if you want, you can always join our Telegram or our Discord. I've recently started LeetCode, starting streaming LeetCode contests as well. I hope that would also help you guys. Okay, thank you for being here. I hope that we will have a topical stream either tomorrow or the day after that, either on Monday or Tuesday. Yes, I would definitely try to do that, but I mean the timing was in a way that I couldn't participate in the previous contest, unfortunately. Yeah, right. I said right now, DP with Bitmask would be either Monday or Tuesday. Maybe I set it for Tuesday, if there's no contest there. I mean, these days there was contest usually, and either I was busy or it was a contest, so I couldn't do it. In 2 days there's no contest right now, if it doesn't change. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you next time. Whose photo is there? You don't know them? That's an Iranian mathematician who has won Fields Medal, Maryam Mirzakhani. It's the first woman who has won the Fields Medal. And there's also another person as well. You can also guess that maybe it was more fun if I wanted to, if I would see that, if any of you know that. Okay. So see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.